Well, I can save you guys a lot of time. You can just take Nikki's interview and put soccer instead of field hockey, and we'd be all good. But yeah, because a lot of things that she said, I echo. The team's been incredibly resilient this season. We faced a lot of injuries early on. We had some shifts in our lineup at different times of the season. We played probably the hardest schedule that I've ever had in my 26 years of coaching. And just to see the girls have that resiliency week after week and how they train and how they continue to be really positive and encouraging. And we didn't start the conference season that well, but we hit our stride and carried that momentum right into the conference tournament. So it was fantastic to be able to get that championship at home.
You mentioned all the injuries that you guys had and challenging schedule coming to the conference tournament as the number 2 seed, but it really seemed like you hit your stride in that. How much of everything before the conference tournament is designed to get you guys ready to hit your stride from there now through the NCAAs?
Well, it's difficult because when you're preparing for teams like a UVA, Penn State, or Kansas, it's very different than preparing for a Missouri State or a UTEP or one of those teams. The tactics are completely different. But the confidence that I think we gain by being able to play against those teams, 6 months ago, if you would have said, this player, that player, and that player would be playing substantial minutes against some of the top 10 teams in the country, I'd say you're crazy. They're never going to see the field. But because of injuries, a lot of those players were playing substantial minutes and not only playing a lot of minutes, but playing important minutes and doing a good job. And I think that was probably one of the biggest keys for us. So we had a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players who got quality minutes in tough games, and we became battle hardened. And again, like you said, you love to take credit for that momentum shift for our team, but really it was the players and our leadership. Ivy, Bree, especially, who are you'll hear from in a moment, but the upperclassmen in our team really propelled us, and we, as you said, hit our stride and carried that momentum into conference tournament.
When you have all those injuries that pop up and I didn't expect her to play against this type of team moment arises, how much of that burden do you take on yourself? How much have your seniors and your veterans taken on to assist with that?
The bread and butter of our program is being able to bring in certainly quality soccer players and quality young women, but it's developing them while they're here. And so that the teaching aspect is something that I really gravitate to and is really meaningful for me. So being able to take some of those younger players and probably put them on a little bit more of a fast track to be able to execute in games and be proficient and productive, that was a great challenge, but I'm really proud of how the team responded.
Now you're prepared to take on Clemson. What are some things you've seen about them early on, and how difficult, or maybe what's some challenges they'll present for you?
Sure. Well, their coach Eddie Brwanski is a fantastic coach. He's done an amazing job with that program. We actually used to play against each other in the pro leagues way back in the day. And so his teams play, they're very tactically sophisticated. They're very hard. Obviously, playing in the ACC, whether 8, 9 teams, something like that made the tournament. So, you might not make the ACC tournament, but you can still make a run in the NCAAs. So we know they're going to be talented. They've got some really top midfielders. Their center forward is an excellent player. They're very organized defensively. They don't give up much in that regard. Similar to us, they really kind of hit their stride somewhere midway through the ACC season and propelled themselves into a top 25. So we know anybody you can play in the first round is going to be tough.
Given up one goal in the last 6 games. Defensively, is this as good as you've seen your team in your time here?
That's a good question. I mean, they've done an exceptional job, and part of that is that every player on the team buys into that idea that they have to defend. Even Ivy, who's been an incredible scorer for us, knows that she's got to chase down backs and she's got to recover, and she's willing to do those things. Hallie will move into the midfield to win headers for us. I mean, every one of our players understands that there's a defensive schematic there that they've got to buy into for the betterment of the team. And so that's been fantastic. I owe a lot of credit to Lauren Littleton, too. I mean, she has really thrived this season. Obviously, Defensive Conference Player of the Year. But she has really been a general in the back and organized that back line. Moving Madison Curley in there next to her has been fantastic because you have a general and you have a soldier. And Madison will, if we call her Curly, she will follow orders, and that coordination between the two of them, I think, has really helped our defense over the last conference games.
How do you account for Juju Harris for Clemson? Looks like she's kind of a lot of their offense. I mean, you zero in on one particular player, or how do you approach it when we're a game like this?
Well, she's definitely talented and a handful, and she creates a lot of their scoring opportunities for them for sure. So that's going to be part of our practice today. We were fortunate we get to have some male practice players that help us out. So we're going to put one of our big guys up front and have our backs have to deal with that in preparation for Juju. But she's a talent, and again, we have to be prepared for it, but we aren't going to necessarily change a lot of what we do.
Ivy had the big, Conference USA tournament, but I'm sure as a coach you point to that just being a result of the entire offense playing well right now. What's working for you offensively that maybe feels like you have a good opportunity to win this game?
Well, like anything, when you start to get some wins and you score some goals and you have big games, they grow in their confidence, right? Lauren Flax is a freshman who's really a midfielder. We've thrown her up front because of some injuries, and she's thrived. Obviously, had 2 goals in the conference championship, was fantastic. Hallie Engel has been a prominent forward for us in the years past, but I think she struggled a little bit with some of that confidence early on in the season, and now she's kind of hitting her stride. And then that takes the pressure off Ivy because everybody's keying on her. And if they send 2 or 3 people for her, and that's what happened with Flax, she was able to get free and score a couple goals, and Hallie set one of those up. So having that 3-pronged attack and then having some really athletic players like Brooklyn and Margaret and Keeley and Haley coming in after them, the defense never gets a rest because we're just throwing wave after wave after wave at them. And so that's been really helpful for us in creating scoring opportunities. Yeah, still crafting that a little bit. I think one of the things we talked about within the conference tournament holds still very true right now, that we want to play the game, not the occasion. We know it's a huge deal to get in the NCAA tournament. We don't take it for granted. We want to celebrate. We feel confident. We respect everybody, but we don't fear anyone. And we want to be able to step on that field with that confidence and belief that we can play with them and we can get a result. But we can't let the occasion overshadow the nuances and the details that we've got to focus on to get a result.